Right, let's go and have more cricket, Ned.
Yeah, let's
Manchester
go.
United face Lyon in a few hours in the Europa League quarterfinal second leg. And at least, Ned, we will know who's in goal this time for Manchester United because Ruben Amorim said that André Onana is back for sure.
He's back, yeah.
Back for sure. So what was the point of dropping him at the weekend?
Was he dropped? Was he rested? Was it about his performance? Was it not? I personally didn't like it because the game against Newcastle on the weekend was also a big game.
Yeah.
So if you believe that he's your number one, then like give him a chance to be able to like find more form. For me personally, and I'm sure it's the same for lots of other players, if you're not playing well, the best way sometimes to get out of that is to play better, to take away the opportunity. I think that makes it strange. And he knows now there'll be more eyes on him for this game against Lyon.
Yeah.
Because of the fact that he missed
more
the
pressure,
weekend.
right? Yeah.
Literally, there's more
100%.
pressure. But Amorim, that's his decision. I'm sure this game, well, one thing about United, it's never smooth, is it? So
It's never. I can't wait. I'm going back to Manchester.
I can see the big smile on your face. You ready for this one?
I cannot wait because I think Lyon will be a massive opponent for them.
Yeah, maybe. But anyway, Jules, Ange Postecoglou then is under more pressure than ever. Could this game against Frankfurt be his last as Tottenham manager?
I mean, we've said many times, didn't we, that he's still in the job because of the Europa League. He had the 3 cups, the FA Cup, the League Cup, where he went to quarterfinals, semi-finals, and now the Europa League to kind of save himself, his position, but also save the season. The 2 domestic cups are gone, long gone, obviously, and now this Europa League, and I think really I could easily see them if they're knocked out on Thursday night, so tonight as we record, getting rid of him and having maybe Ryan Mason being the interim coach until the end of the season and then going for Thomas Frank, going for Andoni Iraola, going for somebody else, really, because I just don't think the Postecoglou project has worked out. And I remember quite early on saying that Ange Ball could work in Scotland, no offense, could work in Japan or in Australia, no offense, not in the Premier League because you get found out.
Do you think they would have been in a higher, just a better position if players would have been available for longer? How big a factor are the injuries?
I know we say that, Ned, but
No, I'm
they
just
were
asking,
not
I'm just
good at
asking.
the end of last season when everybody was fit. They were not good at the start of this season when everybody was fit. And now everybody's fit again and they're still not good. So yeah, it didn't help for sure. And he had to tinker and use young players, all of that. I get all of that. But the collapsing for a year, so since April of last year, in that period of time, of all the teams that had been in the Premier League over those 2 seasons, they've lost the most games, 22. That's under him. That's with most of his players available at times too.
What I would say is that it's like a chain of events. Like some pundits didn't like Ange from the get-go because
probably.
they said he's coming from Scotland, but then they were doing well.
Yeah.
All of a sudden the pundits say, well, they're not good enough. General fans start saying someone's not good enough. And we're at the final stage now where I think their own fans don't believe in him either.
Yeah, and the players, I think, as well.
So unfortunately, yeah, you would think that this is going to be the end for them.
Newcastle destroyed Crystal Palace on Wednesday night in the game in hand. 5-0 at St James's Park. They're up to 3rd now in the table and
That's
looking
Carabao
really
Cup
good.
winners, Newcastle United, by
That's
the way.
right.
Put some respect on their name.
The parade with 300,000 people in the streets.
And rightly so, I've played football up there. Like, football is everything to them. And when the club's
them.
doing well, the city's a very, very different city. And in fairness to them being in 3rd now, they deserve to be there.
Yeah.
The run of form that they're on, like, I'll be honest, a couple of months ago, I thought it was just going to be Liverpool, Arsenal, Forest just clear up there. But now Forest have been dragged into this little the battle for the
Chelsea
top
as well,
5 or whatever it is. So yeah, credit to Newcastle, they're there. And it's a fantastic game of the weekend. Newcastle versus Aston Villa.
Massive.
2 of the most informed sides in the league going head to head for a chance to be in that top 5. So yeah, fair play to Newcastle. They are on fire.
Big news coming out of Liverpool this morning, Ned, because it's official now. Virgil van Dijk has extended his contract.
I think that's brilliant news for them. He's, for me, one of the best defenders in Premier League history.
Yeah.
I think what he means for that football club and the way that he plays as leader, I think he really sets the tone. And going back a few months when you're thinking they might lose Van Dijk, Alexander-Arnold, Salah, like these are the real like special players within that football club. So for him to be staying, for him to be talking the way that he has done, for him to have played as good a season as he has done.
True.
I think for Liverpool fans, there's always this worry that, a change would need to come. And the new manager coming in and start the season, you're anxious, but they've obviously done very well, going to be Premier League champions. But when you know Van Dijk's going to be there next season, when you know Salah's going to be there next season, obviously they'll be a bit older.
Yeah, that's the question I was going to ask you. And I'm only playing devil's advocate here. Don't abuse me, Liverpool fans. I'm just saying.
No, they will.
Salah turns 33 in June and Virgil turns 34 in July. So you're giving 2 huge contracts. I know they're only 2 years extensions, but still, it's a lot of money tied into players who will be 36 and 35 at the end of their new contract.
I think from a playing perspective, they can only gain leverage if they play well. and you look at them, they've played as good as they've played
Yeah,
in any
yeah,
time
sure,
in any
sure.
year at Liverpool. So that's the leverage that they would have over the club, and knowing that the fans acknowledge that and sense that, then yeah, those negotiations become that little bit easier. Well, I say, well, I deserve more. I deserve 2 years. I deserve this pay.
Yeah, yeah.
And what would Liverpool say in terms of why not? Oh, because you're older. But then here's my performance. This is who we are, and so on. So I think credit to him and Salah for being able to perform as well as they've done to get these deals. But now for Liverpool, yes, they have rolled the dice, as you say.
They have to stay at that level.
They have to stay at the level, or even they've got to stay close to it,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
you
close to it,
can't
yeah.
invest like that in players that will decline heavily in 2 years.
Yeah.
But for now, why would you believe that they would?
Kevin De Bruyne, who, as we know, will leave the Premier League, sadly, and your beloved Manchester City at the end of the season, is being linked with MLS and especially the Chicago Fire. We know that his discovery rights belong to Inter Miami, which is another story. but first of all, would you like to see him in MLS? And do you think that this would be the right choice for him to go to at this stage of his career?
Personally, obviously seeing him leave Man City is, it's devastating from my standpoint. He's probably been my favourite City player that I've not played with.
Yeah.
So he's such an incredible player. To see him leave City is devastating. But to see him go to MLS, if that's where he chooses to go, I think it's going to be really, really interesting, because having played over there, like, you can see the value that, say, foreign players can have within that American environment. Obviously, you don't come over and disrupt everything, but you've got different experiences. And with Kevin, this is one of the best players and midfielders the Premier League's ever seen.
Yeah.
So for him to go over and to be able to have an impact with his side, with the league itself, you see this yourself. I think everyone listening sees this. You can travel the world and you can see an Inter Miami shirt.
Absolutely.
A team that's been going for 5 years.
Yeah.
And what's the reason for that? Well, maybe it's someone like Lionel Messi. So the value of these stars, obviously, Kevin doesn't carry the same star power as a Lionel Messi, but he's huge. You can just play his highlight reel. Just go on YouTube, just look at him. Just see what that is. But it'll be interesting, because I think from my time speaking with him, I think he just wants to be settled somewhere with his family and playing football week in, week out. Those are his drivers. If he can do that in Chicago, then great. But then obviously, for the way MLS works, like you said, Inter Miami have his discovery rights, or someone else has. So speaking about that, like, it's weird when you hear that some team has the rights to you and you might not know who they are. And you might not
Salt
speak to
Lake
anybody.
still have the rights to you, right? If you wanted to play again.
So, man. You know what I mean? So if someone wants to get me from Salt Lake, you have to pay a little fee. But it's very, the way I see MLS is that it's different.
Yeah.
When you first go there, you think it's different and you think you can change it. But in reality, to really enjoy it, you accept it for being different.
Yes.
And you play into it, because I think you really start to buy into the idea of having a team that makes the playoffs.
Yeah.
You think, well, what's so good about the playoffs? Well, watch all the other sports. Look at the NBA now in their playoffs.
Yeah.
Look at the NFL in their playoffs. That's what gets people going. And if you can be there and be successful, and I'm sure De Bruyne will be desperate to be that. Chicago, obviously, they're not the greatest MLS team right now.
Yeah, no, the 8th. I looked at that. Greg Berhalter is the head coach,
the
of course.
Manager. They're not the greatest right now, but I think for Kevin, like, listen, he can go anywhere and make a big difference. And I hope he can go there if he goes there.
Yeah, if he does.
If he's to go to MLS, obviously go to Real Salt Lake. But if you can't go to Real Salt Lake,
maybe Chicago is. Chicago is a great city too. So.
It is. Until, to be fair, one of my first times going to Chicago, I remember just being at the airport and the sign says, like, beware tornadoes. I was like, okay, that's different. Then there was a tropical storm, and those winters, whatever he thinks about Mancunian winter.
Ooh, yeah.
Brace yourself for that, my friend. Brace yourself for that.
Liam, the son of Ruud van Nistelrooy, remember him, has just signed his first professional contract with PSV Eindhoven, a 17-year-old.
That's nice.
Ned, will we see Nedum Jr. one day as a professional footballer?
Do you know what? So I have 2 of my kids do play football. My youngest son, my middle daughter, and they're good, to be fair. My daughter's like nice. To be fair, she's nice.
Love that.
It makes me realise that the career that I had, so many people want to have played professionally, and to get somebody even for Van Nistelrooy's son there to just sign a professional contract, that's a huge achievement. It's a dream that so many people want to have.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it'll ever happen. I'll never say no, but you've got to enjoy it, and you've got to be lucky as well, because so many people, as I say, want to do it. Yeah,
true. So we often look at sons of.
And
there must be something either in the water that is running in your house or something. But there's also a lot of sons or daughters of great footballers who just never make it. They're maybe not very good 100%. At football.
Yeah, of course. Like,
what happens, do you think?
There's a lot to it. As you know yourself, it's not just the talent, it's the mentality, it's the desire, because you come up against people where football is everything to them. But one thing about, say, former players, and it's not like every former player has a child who goes to play professionally. But you've got the resources to be able to do it, whether it's the money to be able to be coached from early, whether it's the access to be able to watch things, or say from the sideline, like when I watch my kids play football. some of the stuff that gets said on the sidelines, I know is irrelevant for like what actually makes a kid good or not. So you can have a keen eye to be able to teach them the things that matter the most, but do it from earlier. So it just depends. But it's no surprise to me that so many like younger players are coming up with their parents being footballers as well. Yeah, I totally get that.